I'm here with James Ihedigbo, safety of the New England Patriots, who has taken time out of his schedule to come join us here on Around the Valley. We are currently at Lit Nightclub for his Hope Africa fundraiser. And James, what I want you to do is give the folks at home a little more in-depth view of what it is that your charity does.
Yeah, first and foremost, Hope Africa, it's an acronym for helping our people excel. It's really based off of, my parents, their hard work and due diligence. They came from, Nigeria and pursued education here at UMass and earned their PhDs in education. And through that, they went through a lot of hardship, but yet they fought through and made that happen. And it's really, the basis is that they went, with everything that they gained here, went back to Nigeria to start a school to help students that were less fortunate than them. And Hope Africa is to meet and bridge the gap for students that are African descent, first generation, or that need that academic financial help, and we really assist them in doing that and partnering with other organizations to make that happen. So,
well, thank you, James. It's great to see that you haven't lost touch with your base. You grew up in Northampton, played here at Amherst Regional High School. Can you give us one of your favorite memories growing up around here and playing football locally at Amherst High?
There's so many, but one of my favorite memories is probably playing against Central. In the first half of a game, I had 177 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So
okay,
that was definitely definitely a highlight. Yeah.
All right. Well, also you then went on collegiately to play here for the UMass Minutemen. And right now we're right around the NFL draft time, and you went through this whole process. You ended up going undrafted, but then found yourself in training camp as an undrafted free agent with the New York Jets and making their roster for several years. So could you maybe give us an inside look at what it was like preparing for the draft process, going undrafted, but then still finding your way to an NFL roster?
Yeah, it's the long short end of it is that it's very difficult. You prepare yourself, you go train after the season. It's kind of a long process that, you're working out, you're getting in shape. You go to your combine, whether it's in Indianapolis or you have a regional one. You perform, you do the best that you can, and that's all you can do is worry about, excelling to the best of your ability. And then you go do that, and then, the draft happens. And you're waiting for your name to be called, teams are talking to you. You may not get called in my situation, but that's not, the end say all. You still have an opportunity for mini camps, and that's what I did. Times have changed since, when I came out in terms that, organizations are realizing that, 1AA, Division II, they have great talent and great talent for less money than to draft a guy in the first round. So with that being said, a lot of, other guys since then have had the opportunity. Victor Cruz, Jeremy Miles, a lot of guys have had the opportunity. Matt Lawrence, they've done it all out of UMass, so it's great.
Yeah, clearly UMass is a budding program, but as of now, I'd like to focus on the 2012 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots, who under Bill Belichick typically have traded down in the draft, traded up in the first round to grab a defensive end, Chandler Jones, out of the University of Syracuse, as well as Donta Hightower out of the University of Alabama. Could you give us your thoughts on the philosophy change in this draft for the Patriots, and also your thoughts on the 2 players that they drafted?
Well, first and foremost, they got 2 very explosive players, defensive guys, outside linebacker, defensive end, things that we need in the defense, in our defense to be more successful as a unit. So those are first and foremost, but then you got to think, the ability to get those caliber players early, you have to go for it. You don't want to sit there and have those guys that are high on your draft board and have them slide down or eventually get picked up by another team and you miss out on that opportunity. So they had a chance to, wheel and deal, and they did that. You look at our roster across the board, we're pretty, efficient in a lot of positions. So, in outside linebacker and defensive end or places that we need work at, so it's a great move by them and, picked up 2 great players.
All right, well, thank you, James. And for all of us here around the Valley, I want to thank you for coming on our show. It was a pleasure having you. And for ATV, I'm Weir. Thank you.